You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Yoshida sends one to center field. Rafaela's going to come in. Sogard to the plate. Masa Yoshida delivers. And Boston now leads it 2-1 as they get to the bullpen and Luke Weaver. He got him, and the Red Sox rally from behind and take game one of this wild card 3-1.
Shazam, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. It is a thrilling win for Red Sox Nation today. And if you don't want to hear about the Red Sox and Yankees for about the next 3/4 of an hour, go somewhere else. Actually, you shouldn't go somewhere else, because I'm going to tell you stuff and break stuff down that nobody nationally is talking about. All the real points to last night's game. Let's get it going, everybody. Thanks for checking us out here, Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network video platform. Following me on X at PShep326, across YouTube, Kick, Rumble, CSDN Florida, the awesome Odyssey app, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course our awesome app, SR1029 The Game. Wow. We have got a lot to talk about today. I have a lot of video to discuss with you. It's so pleasing to me. It's not personal. It's professional. Some of it might be personal. To watch Mets and Yankee fans just absolutely die, it's unbelievable. All the frauds at ESPN, half of them are Yankee fans that work there. Instead of getting into the nuts and bolts and the real reasons why, besides Aaron Boone probably is going to be dismissed if the Red Sox should win today, which we will get into. They just missed the major story that no one is talking about, except for my boy Lou Merloti, Will Millerbrooks, and company on WEI after the game with one Nick Sogard. And we're going to get to all of that. And I am telling you right now, right out of the gate, everybody, all you people in Red Sox Nation, some of you are not even going to know this guy's name, but I am telling you, first of all, kudos to Alex Cora. Was unbelievable the way he managed that game last night. Flawless, absolutely flawless. There's no getting behind that. And the scouting department, absolutely outstanding. First base coach Jose David Flores, again. You're not going to hear a lot of first base coaches get a lot of praise, but I am telling you, the scouting department knew what they were doing late in that game last night off Luke Weaver when Sogard hit that ball to right center field, and they freaking knew that Aaron Judge was not going to hustle after it, and he did not let up. I mean, if that was Jarren Duran, I would say automatic. He didn't need that. That was scouting last night, the Sogard double. That should have only been a single, but it ended up being a double because of the scouting department by the Red Sox knowing full damn well that Aaron Judge was not going to all-out hustle to pick up that ball. And that allowed Sogard to get to second base. And then Yoshida comes up with the single that scores the 2 runs, which you just heard we'll get to. I am telling you, Jose David Flores, the first base coach for the Red Sox, and the scouting department last night, bravo. That was absolutely outstanding, as that is one of the big reasons why they won. Now, Aaron Boone taking out Max Fried. Stupid. I'm screaming at the TV, take him out, take him out, take him out. Here's your Grady Little moment for me from 2000. Take him out, please. Get him out. He was in a lot of jams. He had runners on every base except for one inning. Runners every base. Red Sox just couldn't capitalize. But even, I just felt it in my gut that once he was out of the game, and he was probably going to come out after the 7th inning, but that's when a lot of damage was done. The Aaron Boone and that Yankee bullpen, which has been their kryptonite all year long. But the Red Sox took advantage of it. We're going to break it all down. There is so much to discuss, so much video, so much. Wait till you hear Mike Francesa. I don't play a lot of Mike Francesa because I think it's, he's become an old curmudgeon and stuff like that. But wait till you hear his take on the Yankees. He had a great one on the Mets the other day. But this is, I'm telling you, I got some great video and audio from the Red Sox and Yankees last night. And we'll go through the other major league playoff games as well. Cleveland and Detroit in the Classic. That was unbelievable. The ending of that game. You had San Diego, the Padres losing to the Cubs, and Padres have scored like one run in their last 4 or 5 playoff games. It's crazy. And then the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani and company, beat up on the Reds by a score of 10-5. But with all of that, we're going to break it all down. We say good morning to the one and only. I give him a round of applause, too. Angel Martinez up in Tampa, and I say he's getting a lot of applause because his fingers are going to be very, very busy today because I have a shitload of video to play for you guys. But just ecstatic about the win last night. And even if you're not a Red Sox or a Yankee fan, it was unbelievable. That's why I love playoff baseball. Same thing with the Indians. The Guardians and the Tigers in the early game. Even with the Cubs and the Padres. Every pitch, every at-bat, every little thing means something. And that's why, man, I went nuts as soon as Sogard hit that ball to right center. I'm like, go. I saw Aaron Judge, who's probably going to be the MVP, but nevertheless, sort of lollygagging towards the ball. And I'm like, go, don't even let up. And they didn't. And the Yankees were shell-shocked. They couldn't believe it happened. Now, I haven't heard one person this morning nationally, not local. I'm sure it's come up on WEEI and Sports Hub in Boston because they know what they're doing. And this is the kind of thing that they probably would talk about. But nationally, nobody is talking about the scouting department for the Red Sox against the Yankees. And it paid off this time. And Jose David Flores, the first base coach, that guy deserves game ball, whatever you want, because he immediately saw what was going on with Aaron Judge in right center field and said, go. Sogard, go. He never let up. Guys like Jaron Duran do it instinctively. Like he wouldn't have needed a first base coach or a scouting report. He would have just seen, okay, I can see that he's kind of lollygagging to the ball and take off. But Sogard, that was unbelievable. And let us not forget Garrett Crochet. Good God, sweet baby Jesus. I mean, absolutely unfreaking believable. 7 2/3, 11 Ks, no walks. Gave up the little league home run to Volpe in right field in the second inning, and that basically was it. And then Chapman comes in, gets the out in for the final out in the 8th inning, and then the Yankees get the bases loaded in the 9th inning. And don't score. And Chapman strikes out 2 guys, including Giancarlo Stanton. And it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that the Red Sox, the way the team effort, the way it happened. I think the Yankees, I think the stat was they are the first team, home team, to load the bases in the bottom of the 9th inning in the postseason and lose. Now, those of you like myself, that's a true stat. Think about that. Yankees, the first team ever to load the bases in a playoff game in the bottom of the 9th with nobody out and lose. Now, in the Wayback Machine, go back to 1975 for me and the Red Sox. I'm 8 years old, screaming at Danny Doyle because the Red Sox did the same thing in Game 6 against the Cincinnati Reds. They load the bases with nobody out, and they don't score. It was a fly ball. I forget who hit it to left field, and I think Danny Doyle got thrown out at the plate for 2 outs, and then they didn't score. However, we all know what happened in Game 6. That is the historic Carlton Fisk off the foul pole off Pat Darcy in extra innings. And the Red Sox won that game, so they avoided that horrible statistics. But now the Yankees own that statistic. They're the only team in MLB playoff history to load the bases in the bottom of the 9th inning at home and lose. Unbelievable. Garrett Crochet threw the most pitches in a postseason game since Steven Strasburg threw 117 against St. Louis back in 2019. Fried, for the most part, was very good as well, a 6 and a third, but he was in a jam every inning except for one, whereas Crochet was not at all. So Weaver had a 105 ERA in his first 24 appearances. He's the one that came in and relieved Fried. But was sidelined 2.5 weeks by a left hamstring strain, and then had a 5.31 ERA over his final 40 games. So the Yankee bullpen in general was one of the worst, with a 4.3 something ERA. And people are going to be calling, like Red Sox fans with Grady Little, for not pulling Pedro Martinez back in 2003. Yankee fans are going to be calling for Aaron Boone's head. And it's ironic because Aaron Boone in 2003 hit the home run against Tim Wakefield. And got the Yankees in Game 7 to the World Series. And now here is Aaron Boone, 22 years later, kind of like the GOAT. And I don't mean the GOAT like Tom Brady GOAT. I mean the GOAT like, for not leaving Max Fried in to complete the 7th inning. He had only thrown 102 pitches. So Yankee fans, from that perspective, I feel your pain. But only for a little bit. And only about that much. That's what you get.
Boy,
you got out Aaron Boone last night. It was fantastic. Go back and watch 2003. It'll make you feel better. Just substitute Grady Little for Aaron Boone. A little bit of a different situation. Aaron should have taken Pedro out. Boone should have left Max Fried in. Congratulations to me. Absolutely fantastic. By the way, any Red Sox fans or Yankee fans want to call the show, 727-858-6650. We are going to be obviously baseball heavy. Lots of video to play. Angel, I haven't even got the chance. Did I even say good morning to you yet? I'm just giddy.
That's okay. I was expecting it. I was definitely expecting after the win last night. I was trying to keep my eyes on all the action going on in different places. But yeah, I would expect you for to be on cloud nine with the Red Sox. And listen, my sister knows I can't stand the Yankees. Nothing against those who enjoy the Yankees, but I'm happy for the Red Sox. Red Sox pull off a good win, a solid win. Obviously, just one more and you move on to the division series. But I said before even the series started, I feel like the Red Sox should be in the ALCS. That's just my opinion. But with a win like that against the Yankees last night, I would expect you to be nothing but giddy. So it was good. I think for baseball fans, they really appreciate all the games yesterday. Turned out pretty well, except for the Dodgers. I can't stand the Dodgers either, but they won. They're a cute team.
Yeah, we'll see if Terry Francona's boys today. They got to get to the bullpen because, like the Yankees, you get to the Dodger bullpen, you get a chance. But we'll get to all of that. I have so much video, and I'm going to really work you to death today, Angel, because some of it's all over the place. But I want to start. And you're going to have to scroll down a little bit. Let me see. I want to start with Masataka Yoshida giving the Red Sox the first lead of the game. It's on from ESPN, and it's under in essence game 100 for Breggy. It's Masataka Yoshida giving the Red Sox their first lead of the game. But while you're setting that up, before that, here's how the Yankees took the lead in the bottom of the second inning.
Part. Very unique leg kicks, old school style.
2 strikes to Volpe. That ball is hit very hard to right field. And that's the guy that the Yankees want to see in October. He was critical last year, and Anthony Volpe exits stage right. The Yankees lead the Red Sox 1-0. And man, does that have to feel good for Volpe.
Volpe was batting .212 this year, .212. Put the Yankees ahead with that sinker, drove to the opposite field and that little league right field the Yankees have in that fucking stadium. And but that would be it. Went about 6 rows into right field. Would have been an out. I don't know if that would have been an out at Fenway. That was hit pretty hard, but it never would have been a home run at Fenway Park. But that's okay. That's all the offense the Yankees could muster. That the bases loaded in the ninth couldn't do it. So there is that. So now I want to play. Here's how the Red Sox took the lead. They're down 1-0, and here we go. Here's Masataka Yoshida giving the Red Sox their lead.
Yoshida sends one to center field. Rafaela's going to come in. Sogard to the plate. Masa Yoshida delivers. And Boston now leads it 2-1 as they get to the bullpen and Luke Weaver.
What a shock. They get to the bullpen and Luke Weaver. And right there and then is when Aaron Boone more than likely lost his job, just on that alone. And then a little bit later on, let's go scroll right up there for Bregman, right up from that Angel from Nesson. Here is, and game 100 in the postseason for Bregman. And he got the insurance run. Red Sox were up 2-1 heading into the ninth, and Breggy gets a double that gives him the insurance run for Aroldis Chapman.
And Bregman down the line. That's a fair ball off the wall. He'll head to second. He will be in there with the double and insurance from Trevor Story. It's 3-1 Red Sox.
All right, Angel. And then with the bases loaded, jam. If we could scroll up on Nesson, the Chap escapes, the bases loaded out, jam. This was absolutely fantastic how the game ended yesterday. If you're a Red Sox fan.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Give me a second. Let me bring this back. And away we go.
Sox rally from behind and take game one of this wild card 3-1.
Unbelievable. The Yankees had the bases loaded, nobody out in the ninth, but all-star closer Aroldis Chapman worked out of the jam against his former team. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. He also got Jose Caballero to fly out to finish the eighth inning before Bregman playing in his 100th postseason game, as I said, doubled RB down the line and got the Red Sox the insurance. So Goldschmidt, Judge, and Cody Bellinger load the bases with consecutive singles starting in the bottom of the ninth. But Chapman recovers, gets the save. He strikes out Giancarlo Stanton, retires Jazz Chisholm on a little flare out to the outfield and a shallow fly out, and then fans Trent Grisham, what you just saw, on a 101-mile, not 101 Dalmatians, but 101-mile-an-hour fastball at the end to close out the Yankees in that one. If we could scroll up from there, here is, let's start with him. We'll try to make this as easy as possible for you, Angel Martinez. Here is Alex Bregman on Garrett Crochet from Nesson last night.
Here we go.
All right, thank you very much. Well, that was an intense ninth inning there, Alex, but how much fun was this first wild card game?
So much fun. Such a great experience for every single person in there. Everybody just having fun playing a game that we love, and to come out here and get a dub, that was awesome, and just proud of the group.
You got almost a full season of playoff experience, but how do you characterize Garrett Crochet's performance here tonight?
No, it's special. That's what the big guys do. That's what Cy Young type guys do. And just so proud of him. He's been unbelievable for us all year, and you just got to keep it rolling.
The fourth and fifth, as good as Max Fried was, the fourth and fifth inning, you guys were putting on pressure. How much was things building towards that seventh inning where Masa came through for you guys offensively?
For sure. He's nasty. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, so I thought we did a good job battling, getting a pitch count up there. And once we got guys on, Masa coming through with a big knock to break the ice for the boys, and just proud of the overall team fight.
4-out save for Chappie, but you were able to give him a little bit more cushion. What was the approach there with the double off hill?
Just trying to find a way to get Trevor in. He did a great job getting on right there, extending that inning, and then to steal a big base. We talk about it all the time how he was perfect stealing bases for a long time, and then but the most important thing is he steals them when they matter, and that's a big base right there, and it's just fortunate enough to put a good enough swing on it to drive him in.
Alex, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on this first.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great stuff, Alex Bregman. Angel, going to scroll right up to Alex Cora from Nesson, talking about crochet and play that in a second. Joe says, "Good morning, guys." I said months ago the Sox would have a chance to make it happen, and they showed gutsiness and the will to win, and now have a chance to win it all. Let's get through today first before we get one inning, one step at a time here. They got Rodon is going for the Yankees. Brian Bayo, who has not looked good in his last 3 starts at all, to be honest with you. However, he pitches very well against the Yankees. He really does. Forget what happened in the last 3 starts. I think the Yankees are going to be pressing today. And if Bayo can maintain control, and the Red Sox should have a good chance to win. But all the pressure today is on the Yankees. All right. What is that hissing sound?
I have no idea. Came out of nowhere.
All right, let's get to Alex Cora on Garrett Crochet yesterday.
All right. Here we go. Come on. Play nice.
Alex, we ask a lot of analytics questions to you about baseball, but how much would you say was just your gut with Crochet today, your baseball mind, or did you kind of know all the scenarios, or was just your gut and how he looked in play today?
I think it was him.
What do you mean by that? Yeah.
I mean, the stuff was still really good at that point. He was throwing 97, 98. The previous inning was a quick one, so gave us a chance to push the envelope. In the 8th, it was a quick inning against a pocket that gave him kind of trouble early in the game, so I didn't hesitate. I told Bales he's going out, and he did his job.
In an era where pitchers almost never pitch that long, what is it in Crochet's makeup that you saw him having the ability to do that?
It started yesterday. We were joking around that for some reason our front office was in the bullpen checking something over there, and he was in the dugout with me, and I told him we should call the bullpen, and he's like, tomorrow you're going to make 1 call to the bullpen. I say maybe 2. He's like, no, 1. He's going to be straight to Chappie. I'm like, okay, I'll take that, and that's how it worked out.
What is it in his makeup that...
He's just a guy that wants it bad, to be honest with you. He was in a situation last year that he was learning how to become a starter. He got traded to become the ace. He got paid like an ace, and since day one, he's acted like that.
Alex Cora, great stuff. Yes, Joe, I know. Yes, you didn't say they'd win it all. You said have a chance. Yes, they have a chance to win it all. No question about it. They do. I didn't mean it that way. If you took it like it. But I get you. I'm with you. They have a chance to win it all. That's all you can ask for. All right, speaking of the man, Garrett Crochet, let's scroll up, Angel. More video from Nesson on the story that Alex Cora just related to you. Arrogance? I don't think so.
Right.
Alex was telling a story a few minutes ago about how yesterday in the dugout he was calling staff in the bullpen, and you told him you're only going to need the phone once tomorrow. What made you think of that?
Just being arrogant, to be honest. I didn't actually expect that to be the case, but when he sent me back out there, I was determined to leave it that way.
Do you ever wish you were one of these old-time throwback pitchers in another era, and you could throw 130-pitch complete games every 5 days?
I don't know if it's sustainable with my velocity. I'm not sure how hard they were throwing back then, but I like to think that I'm prepared to do that even in today's game.
Alex was telling a story a few minutes ago.
All right, there it is, Garrett Crochet right there. All right, and now Angel Martinez, and I'm going to need your help here probably a little. Let's scroll up one more. Here is Aroldis Chapman talking about pitching in the moment, and might need my universal translator, a.k.a. Angel Martinez. Here we go. You can pause it after.
Game on
Okay.
the line. What was going through your mind?
Base llena, sin out, con el juego en la línea. ¿Qué iba en tu mente? ¿Qué pensabas?
Nada, tratar de calmarme, relajar, que mi cuerpo se relaje y nada, enfocado picheo a picheo, a tratar de ejecutar buenos picheos.
Yeah. All right. So I understood nada. Nothing. Nothing was going through his mind. Then what did he say?
He said he was just trying to relax his mind and just deal with the pitches that were coming, or as the game was playing. But he said he was just trying to relax himself.
Okay, let's see.
Just trying to calm myself down and try to execute pitch by pitch, and that was my mentality.
How much is the crowd a factor at that point? You've seen how rowdy this crowd can be in a postseason. Do you even hear them, or you're concentrating, or you don't even pay attention?
¿Qué tanto juega la afición aquí en ese momento? ¿Tú lo escuchas o estás enfocado y no los escuchas o qué tanto te influye?
No, en ese momento, ¿verdad? Uno no está viendo, no está escuchando mucho eso, está más enfocado en su catcher, en los picheos y en cómo ejecutar los lanzamientos que va a hacer y tratar de resolver.
Angel?
In that moment, you really don't pay attention to it. You're just trying to concentrate on the job you're supposed to be doing, in short.
Okay. Moment you don't hear anything, you don't see anything. You just 100% focus on your catcher and the next pitch and try to execute that next pitch.
You spent the better part of 9 seasons in pinstripes. How satisfying was it to close out this victory for this group?
Que pasaste varias temporadas con los Yankees. Que tan satisfactorio fue cerrar ese juego hoy contra ellos y para nosotros.
No, normal. Yo estoy contento, estoy feliz de por lo menos ganarme el primer juego y nada, la mentalidad de nosotros es ir al playoff, estamos aquí, ahí vamos a luchar para pasar para la otra fase y nada, no le pongo mente a eso.
No.
So he didn't think about it too much. After all the time with the Yankees, he's just more concentrated on winning here for this organization, and that's the way he's pretty much taken it.
All right.
Just happy to be able to close the game and win game one of this series. Our mentality is to win each game, and happy that we were able to win tonight.
Outstanding. Let's keep it going. Catcher Carlos Navarez, another former Yankee, raving about Garrett Crochet after the win.
Bring this up.
This is great. This is a great day.
And that it definitely is.
For me, anyway.
What to say about Garrett, where his last pitch was 100 miles an hour, career high in pitches. What did you see from him? What gave him that really extra tonight?
Yeah, no, awesome, bro. He's awesome, like I say. And every night he show different things, like, you know what I mean? So, like, bro, literally tip my cap on that guy. Like, he's completely animal, completely beast, and I just glad we had him in our team for a long time. You know what I mean? So we needed this game. I know, like, this. It's a short series, you know what I mean? So this game, especially for us, outside our house playing here in New York, it was big for us, you know what I mean? Yoshida with great pinch hit, drove 2 runs, and then we keep the score like that, had a chance to win the game.
A year ago in the taxi squad, what did it feel like to be out there playing in the atmosphere, and what was the night like for you?
Yeah, no, bro, crazy how baseball works. I was over there last year, but like I said, super happy for the opportunity. You know, I saw too many things. So I got the feeling a little bit of what is being the postseason World Series. So I think prepared me a little bit to be in this stage to deal with the pressure. And I think tonight was a really good game, bro. To be honest, from the beginning, like I said, super happy we got this win. That was big for us.
All righty, great stuff. Let's scroll up now. One of the heroes of last night, pinch hitter Masataka Yoshida lined a 2-run single off reliever Luke Weaver. Ended up being essentially the game-winning hit, even though the Sox got an insurance run because of Bregman's double in the 9th. But here is Masataka Yoshida delivering the go-ahead hit, and you'll hear the translator.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I was on the right one.
Yep.
I'll translate this one as well. Let's go.
Coming off the bench there late, Masa, with 2 runners in scoring position, what was your mentality in the box?
終盤ねピンチヒットでああいう形で出てきて、マサさんの意識というかアプローチというか。
とにかくバットに当ててことを起こそうと思いました。
Yeah,
He said he felt good. He wanted to knock the shit out of the ball.
just wanted to put the ball in play and just make something happen, right?
Last 3 weeks or so, you've been arguably one of the better offensive players for the Red Sox. How much did you feel like this moment was kind of building to that, be able to execute that way?
過去3週間ぐらいね、すごい多分レッドソックスでも1、2ぐらいのね、貢献してる、攻撃面でしてるバッターだと思うんですけど、そこからずっとつながってきて、今日ああいう結果が出たと思います。
いいイメージでは打席に入れてますし、短期決戦なんでまた別物ですけど、シーズン最後と同じように積極的に行こうとは思ってました。
Yeah, I think I was able to picture myself, coming through that situation. Just wanted to be aggressive from the first pitch, and I was able to do that.
So this has been a tough year for you, right? Like you began it in Fort Myers, you missed a lot of time. I mean,
did you ever can you ever imagine not being able to play for a while and now being a guy that hits a go ahead single in a playoff game?
今年はフォートマイズからスタートしていろいろタフなシーズンだと思ってますけど、その時ね自分がこうしてヤンキーススタジアムでね勝ち越しヒットを打てるって思ってましたかと。
いろいろ思い返すとフロリダで若い子らと一緒にやったのも今本当にいろいろメジャーリーグのいろいろ経験できて、これも一つの大きなビッグイベントだと思うし、この勝つために全てやってきてると思いますので。
Yeah, just kind of reflect back on the first, half of the season. I was in Fort Myers hanging out with younger guys, right? And that was a good experience too. But I did everything in my power to, to be able to come through in this situation like this. So I'm glad that I was able to come through.
All right, there he is, Masataka Yoshida. And I'll tell you what, if the Red Sox, and hopefully they will advance and they go to Toronto, the Blue Jays don't want to see him at all. Yoshida hits, it's got to be well over 5. It seems like he gets a hit every single time. But he just owns the Blue Jays, absolutely owns them this entire season, especially at Rogers Center.
Is he the newest addition to the Red Sox this season, or has he been around?
Yeah, he's been in the system, but he, like you said, he didn't get to play a lot in spring training, and yeah, he has come along very nicely. Angel, if we could scroll up, and it's right under the show. This is one of my last Red Sox cuts. Then we're going to take a break and get the Yankee reaction. This is from WEI last night. Nick Sogart speaking to Will Fleming, Will Miller-Brooks, and Lou Merloni, my boy, following the win. This is what Sogart was the one that turned that single into a double because of the great scouting and the great first base coaching by Jose David Flores, as I mentioned at the top of the show. Sogart was, because of the coach, never hesitant, knew all along because of scouting that Aaron Judge was not going to get to that ball in the proper time. And it paid off huge dividends. He got to second base, and then Yoshida knocked in, had the pinch hit single, and then knocked in both the runs. But here's Nick Sogart with the boys after the game on WEI.
Nick, your first taste of postseason baseball. We'll get you into the specifics of some of these at-bats, what you're thinking. But first of all, I mean, are you kidding me? How was your first step into the lion's den of playoff baseball?
I thought that was pretty fun. I don't know about you guys, but I had a good time out there tonight.
Well, Sogi, you go from, a whirlwind of the last week of the season where you don't know if you're going to make the postseason roster. Then you make the postseason roster. You don't know if you're going to start. Then you get the start, right? And you're facing a guy in Max Fried. You come up with some really big swings. Just tell me how you were feeling, what you're seeing at the plate.
Yeah, I feel just faced him actually a couple weeks ago and had some couple good at bats. So honestly, felt pretty comfortable against him, and I kind of just tend to enjoy these types of moments. So something that just felt pretty comfortable, as weird as that may sound.
Yeah, I would say.
Nick, that second hit you got, that double, obviously scouting report. You're going to try to take advantage of Judge, right? Like off the bat, is that what you're thinking right away? I'm going to challenge this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the bat by Rafaela before me was incredible. Never faced Weaver, so getting to see basically all of it before I stepped in the box was huge. And then, yeah, you're exactly right. I think they kind of took a little bit to pick it up. I don't know if there was miscommunication or what, and then, just kind of backhand going away from the base. I'm going to challenge the arm, and it worked out.
So, Sogi, you guys have a few guys who are fresh to this type of baseball in this part of the year. How important has Alex Bregman, Story, Lowe, Chapman, these guys who've been there in these spots, how important have they been to you guys?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like that backbone, so not a lot of us have experience, but just trying to slow it down. Rafaela was pretty cool to be with for a lot of this. He's like, he kept saying, I feel nothing. So trying to just treat it like another road series in New York and win the series.
I feel something, I'll tell you that much. Last one for you, Nick. That dude on the mound, well, both of them, but the guy who went 7 1/3 with 11 strikeouts, I mean, it is spectacular to watch him pitch, and he's just so calming to everyone, I would imagine. What's it like to play behind Garrett?
It's incredible. We all call him Beast, and he is. We think he's the best in the world, and he showed it tonight.
Yes, he did. Thanks so much, Sogi. You were awesome, and what a big win. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
All righty, there it is. Nick Sogard, second baseman for the Red Sox last night. Huge play. And the other unsung hero in this game, it was Cedano Rafaela, 0-2 in the count. And then Weaver ended up with an 11-pitch at bat, and he walked. And then he ended up on third base after the double by Sogard right there because he knew that Judge wouldn't get to the ball. Joe, Bregman needs to set it up and be consistent. I don't know if you saw the game last night, Joe, but he went 2 for 4 and had the insurance RBI with a double in the ninth. I think he stepped up. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I have the great Yankee reaction from the Yes Network, from Francesa. We're going to hear from Aaron Boone, who Grady Littled himself last night. It's absolutely fabulous. It's going to be fantastic. But first, I want to tell you about one of the only Yankee fans I kind of like, and it's Phil Castanetti. And he's a huge Yankee fan. He is livid. But Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So get on down there to Phil Castanetti, Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. Yankee miserable reaction coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang.
Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
That's called strike three. Austin Wells on catcher like Narvaez, perhaps trying to buy himself the walk like Narvaez has done twice.
What's Cole going to do here? He's going with Chapman.
Crochet's night over, 11 strikeouts. Chapman coming in.
Yeah, thanks to the Yankee Television I'm sorry, ESPN last night. You would have thought it was the Yes Network broadcasting the game. Sorry, I'm a little sensitive, but it was absolutely ridiculous. And again, they missed a lot of the key. Although I will say this, it was who was the color commentator last night? But I forget. He picked up on what I was saying about the scouting at first base right away. I will give him the credit for that. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. We are discussing at length the Red Sox great win in Game 1 over the Yankees last night. We'll get to the rest of the majors in the playoffs yesterday as well. Joe says, good question, Joe. Pete, you're in Florida. Is your show catered to Boston fans in Florida and around the country? I know when you first started, you did a lot of Florida national stuff, which I still do. It just so happens I go, and Angel will back me up on this. I don't care who's playing. I am going to go with what the feature story is. Now, if you watch ESPN this morning, you'll think the WNBA is the lead story. They spent 20 minutes on that gobbledygook like anybody gives a real shit about it. It's ridiculous. They force stuff like that down your throat, and 95% of the country does not care, especially after some great Major League Baseball postseason game. So again, you got to remember, Joe, we're heard in all 50 states. How many countries now, Angel? 55, 56?
We're getting there, pretty much, yeah.
All over Europe, all over Russia, Croatia, Kazakhstan, Spain, Italy. So I just go by what I think are the best stories. I think the best story last night just happened to be my Red Sox. But if you've listened to the show, we do a ton of Miami Dolphins, even though I make fun of Charlie Brown all the time. Yep. Heavy into the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida Gators and Florida State. And there'll be a lot more about that game coming up tomorrow and Friday. So I just go by what the big stories are. The Red Sox haven't been into playoffs for a while. The Patriots haven't been into playoffs for a while either. At times it will be a little Boston-centric. Mick Colagio is going to join me at 8:30 this morning, just for example. Not only is he a great Boston Bruins insider, he's a great NHL insider. And, the NHL season does begin tomorrow night, and the Bruins open up in Washington. So we're going to talk to Mick a little bit about some hockey. But you'll hear tons of, we'll do Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, we do everything. Whatever the biggest stories are, we do it. And I try to play the most entertaining and informative videos with Angel's help that we can. Sometimes it'll seem a little more Boston-centric than other days. And other times I won't even mention, anybody. But we mentioned a lot of other teams, depending on who, the kind of sound that I can get, the kind of videos I can get. We have a staff of Angel and myself. We have other great shows here across the Coastal Sports Digital Network, but I have to rely on other people who are covering all these teams. And I do, and it works out great. So overall, but yes, Charlie Brown absolutely somehow still has a job. They hung on to beat the Jets 26-21.
Sure did.
All right. Okay, let's get to it. Here, coming up at 8 o'clock, Bill Sparrows is going to join us from bookies.com, the senior betting analyst there, and Mick Colagio at 8:30. Let's scroll down, Angel. Let's go to Yankee videos. Let's get right to Aaron Boone. And he's going to talk about how about Max Fried being pulled after 6 1/3 innings.
La, la, la. And here we shall go.
Aaron Max Fried was dealing tonight. What was the thought process behind taking him out to go to the pen there with nobody on and one out in the 7th?
Yeah, just they pressured him pretty good in the 4th, 5th, 6th. Had a couple base runners each inning. So I felt like he kind of cruised through the first few, and obviously he ends up pitching great, but I felt like he had to work pretty hard, and I was going to have the 6 be at the end, but once we finished with the double play, I wanted him to go out and get Duran, and then felt like we were lined up.
Aaron Max Fried was dealing tonight. What was the thought?
Let's scroll. Here comes my favorite part of the show today so far. And Joe, yes, I know you're not complaining. I love your Boston talk. No, I said it may seem that way at times. I'm not trying to be that way, but this is the main story. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the WNBA and what's the shenanigans going on over there. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Most people don't, especially after some great MLB action last night. I promise you, ESPN National is the only stuff people talking about it. And all the shows will talk about it too. They'll try to cram it down your throat like you actually care, when all you want to do is talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs and the NFL and college football slate this weekend. But, all right, let's scroll up to the Mike Francesa podcast. This is fantastic. Here you go, Yankee fans. And look, I think it's hard for me to say this, but I agree 100% what Mike is saying here. And I guarantee all of your Yankee fans from the Aaron Boone Club feel the same way. Let's roll it.
I have been worried about two things with this Yankee team all year. Number one, they can't beat good teams, and that continues. And they didn't prove that in the last 13 games when they played nothing but losing teams. Number two, this bullpen has been unreliable all year, and Boone played right into the bullpen again tonight. Why can't Fried, who is your ace, who you gave $240 million, who has great postseason experience, who was dealing tonight, why can't he get the bottom of the order out in the 7th and complete that inning? Why does he have to come out of the game? Why? Because he had a 10-pitch at bat to the catcher who walked? He got out of it with a double play. He'd only thrown 102 pitches. He could get the 8th and 9th hitters. Until he showed you he was done, until he at least gave up a base runner, let him stay in the game. I'm not asking him to pitch the 8th inning, but let him complete the 7th inning. Get every out you can out of Fried because he's your best pitcher. He's better than anything you have in that bullpen. And what happens? Weaver comes in and walks a guy who doesn't want to walk on a 10-pitch at bat, has him 0-2.
11.
And walks him. And then base hit, and next thing you know, the Yankees are down.
See, but nobody is talking about the Nick Sogard hustle double that he had, thanks to Jose David Flores, the first base coach. I mean, maybe, I'm sure in Boston they're talking about it because they'll pick up on it, but nationally, that's a huge thing. And Aaron Judge, I'm sure Yankee fans are going to pick up on it. I'm sure Aaron Judge is going to come under a little bit of fire for not getting to that ball. Now, I personally think, okay, even if they didn't score in the 7th, I think the Red Sox would have at least tied it with that Yankee bullpen. I think they would have found a way. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Too bad, Yankee fans. Deal with it. We dealt with it before. Aaron Boone has now morphed into the 2003 version of Grady Little. And he's probably been that way for a while. Let's scroll up from there, Angel. Let's go to the Yes Network last night, and we will check in with Bob Lawrence and John Flaherty and also Jack Curry and Michael Kay talking about the Red Sox, their thoughts about the game last night and the Yankees losing.
Game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series in the books, and the Red Sox win it 3-1. Flash, we were looking at Max Fried against Garrett Crochet, matching each other blow for blow. Fried left with a lead. Yanks couldn't hold it.
Yeah, this is your biggest fear if you're the Yankees when you have a couple of aces out on the mound. Maybe an ace for the Red Sox is going to step up and be the hero. Garrett Crochet was that guy tonight, pitching all the way into the 8th inning, 117 pitches. Max Fried was fantastic, but the Yankee bullpen, we talked about it all year, was up and down. They finished strong, but the bullpen had a tough night tonight.
This night had a chance to be exhilarating for the Yankees, and instead it turned into a night that was exasperating. They're 8 outs away from winning this game because of the combination of Fried and Anthony Volpe taking a very difficult Crochet deep. You hand the ball to your bullpen with 8 outs to go, and you have to have confidence they can get the job done. Luke Weaver did not get the job done. He came into tonight with 6 scoreless outings to finish the regular season, but Michael, he was unable to suppress the Red Sox, and even though the Yankees rallied in the 9th against Chapman and loaded the bases and heightened the drama and the tension, they lose Game 1.
Well, it comes down to this, and it's going to come down to this for how far the Yankees go in the postseason. How's their bullpen going to do? Their bullpen has been unreliable. Toward the end of the year, looked like they were getting better, but there's still no lights out there. A run for the Red Sox in the 9th inning as well. So when the Yankees loaded the bases with nobody out, in the bottom of the 9th inning, they had to score 2, not 1 to tie it. Comes down to that. If you look at Luke Weaver, you can't get out the 8th and 9th batters in the lineup. I mean, what are you going to do? This is on Luke Weaver. People are going to blame Aaron Boone for taking out, and we'll get into that, taking out Max Fried with 102 pitches. That's the way he has done it all year, and you bring in your bullpen to get 8 and 9. They can't get it done. This is on the bullpen. This is on Jeff Weaver, and the Yankee offense couldn't do anything against Garrett Crochet.
All right, Michael Kay, I mean, you're somewhat right, but and I don't know. He's been accused in the past of being an Aaron Boone suck-up, and I like Michael a lot. He's a great guy. You got it. The reason why the Yankees bullpen is the way it is this year is because he has managed the starting pitching that way. And they haven't been very good. I think they were ranked 22nd or 23rd on the year with an ERA over 4.57, something like that. This is playoff baseball. You got to change your mentality. And last night, I am telling you, and without a doubt, they were outmanaged, they were out-scouted, they were out-coached, they were out-hustled, and they were outplayed. Every single one. Check the box, check the box, check the box, check the box, check the box. And Aaron Boone you can't manage that way in the postseason. You just have to get either sentimental. It's just what I hate to keep going back to it. Grady Little did the same thing to Pedro back in 03. You should have pulled him. And he didn't. And it cost him a chance to go to the World Series and maybe win it. And then, okay, they did what they did in 04, coming back from 3 games to none and winning the whole thing. But my God, Aaron Boone, you got to change your mentality. This is playoff baseball. You got to have what Garrett Crochet said. You only have to go to the bullpen one time for Chapman. That's it. I'm sure Fried was pissed that he came out after 102 pitches in that game. At least Francesa's at least get to the 7th inning. I was stunned, Angel, that he didn't pull him then. That he pulled him out of that game. I was stunned with the 8th and 9th hitter coming up. One more from the Yankees under the show. It is Aaron Judge calling Garrett Crochet the best in baseball. Might have to refresh, Angel.
Yep. Here we go.
Yep.
All right.
Crochet tonight.
He's the best pitcher in the game. You know, he's going to work all his pitches. You know, with a little bit more off speed in there early on, but we got the Volpe homer, but couldn't really, and we got guys on there do much after that.
Crochet tonight.
Well, sums it up. How about nobody? I wonder if somebody asked him, and I'm wondering if on WFAN or whatever stations are taking the Yankee calls at the end. I'm telling you, that play was huge by Nick Sogard. I cannot stress enough. And the first base coach, Jose David Flores, immediately looking and seeing Aaron Judge sort of dilly-dally a tiny bit. Wasn't like it wasn't like Reggie Jackson in '78 against the Red Sox, but it was a dilly-dally, and that's scouting, and the Red Sox picked up on it. Otherwise, nobody else but Jarren Duran would have done that. Jarren Duran would have done it on his own. He would have sensed it. But I really credit the first base coach for the Red Sox and Nick Sogard going all out, right from out of the box, right out of the get-go. All right, before Bill Sparrows comes along, man, I'm so excited. Game 2, by the way, is tonight, Rhode Island versus Bayo. Bayo has pitched excellent on the whole against the Yankees. He's been bad the last 3 starts, or mediocre to below average at best. But throw that all out the window because he has pitched very well against the Yankees.
By the way, good morning, Gas Pump guys. He texted in this morning, so I didn't forget. Good morning, GBG.
Good morning, GBG. How are you? All right. Yesterday, another thrilling game. The Tigers and Cleveland. Boy, oh boy. And it was in the top of the first. This was so bizarre because what's his name? Williams got first 2 pitches, 2 outs, right? And then all this crazy stuff happened.
That's a little looper that's going to fall in left field for a hit. Juan up and will throw into second base. And Detroit takes a 1-0 lead.
That was an unearned run. There was a hit and an error and then a little dinky hit like that. By the way, Sean McDonough on the call. I so wish to God he was calling the Red Sox-Yankees series. He's the best play-by-play announcer that ESPN has, and he's stuck doing freaking Detroit and Cleveland at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Not that it wasn't a great game. So it's 1-0 Tigers after the top of the first inning, but let's head now to the bottom of the fourth.
A high chopper over the mound. Scooter can't play. Here comes Martinez to the plate. He is out. Close play. And they will undoubtedly take a look at this one.
Sean, I thought he got his hand in there right before the tag was put on.
Safe by a mile.
I did too. We're right up behind home plate. And the call is overturned. And Cleveland has tied the game at 1.
Yes, they did. So it's tied at 1. Let's go to the top of the 7th.
9 more here today. A bunt dropped down by Zach McKinstry. Noel will go to first, and Detroit takes the lead. Sacrifice bunt brings in McKinstry. Or brings in Green off the bat of McKinstry.
So it's 2-1 Tigers. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th. Jose Ramirez gets on base. He's on third base. And for some reason, this happened.
Chopper back to the mound. They have Ramirez in a rundown. This tags him out. For the second out of the 9th inning.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And here's the final call in the game.
The regular season. Swings and pops it up. Shallow left, Baez out. He makes the catch. His error proves not to be costly. And the Detroit Tigers take game 1 of this American League Wild Card Series.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Tyreek Skubal was awesome. He had 14 Ks. But I don't understand. Jose Ramirez after the game said he was going on contact. I don't get that. Here's Skubal after the game.
In spite of everything you guys went through in recent weeks, you had the ball in a game 1, rested, ready. What did it mean to you to have that opportunity to kind of rewrite the narrative for your team?
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot to take the ball game 1. To have the trust of our whole organization, teammates, coaches, coaching staff, it means a lot. And it doesn't really matter how we got here. We got in, everybody's in the same boat, and we're up 1-0 in a best of 3. So it doesn't really matter how you get here as long as you get in.
Yep, game 2 today. Every single game yesterday, identical starting times and networks today. Okay, so you got Detroit and Cleveland, game 2, 1 o'clock on ESPN, on ABC at 3. You got the Cubs in San Diego, which we'll get to in a second. And then at 6 o'clock on ESPN, you got the Red Sox and the Yankees in Game 2, and Game 2 out west with the Dodgers and Cincinnati, 9 o'clock on ESPN. Speaking of the Cubs and San Diego, yesterday afternoon on ABC, Xander Bogaerts got the Padres up early.
2-week span. Bogaerts to left center field. That ball is blistered by Xander Bogaerts. One hop off the ivy. Forget moving the guy up on a routine grounder. Bogaerts scores Merrill on a double and takes third on the wayward throw. San Diego strikes first in the wild card, and Xander Bogaerts.
All right, so it's 1-0 San Diego. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning.
Where it's at right now is fine.
Driving up center field, Seiya Suzuki. He rips it through the Wrigley wind into the brilliant sunshine, and Suzuki ties the score in Game 1 of the wild card series.
Game would not stay tied for long.
Kelly with a high drive to center field. Merrill is back. Sheets at the wall. And this one's gone. The Cubs smash out of their slumber with back-to-back home runs in the 5th. Suzuki and Kelly put Chicago in the lead.
Nick Homer would add a sacrifice slow fly in the bottom of the 8th, made it 3-1. That was the final. And here he is after the game talking about the Wrigley Field atmosphere.
Well, I can barely hear you, so it was a pretty good atmosphere. We're spoiled all year with these fans, so to give them a playoff win feels amazing. Yeah, I mean, you play together for so long across the whole year, and then to have a chance to put it all together on your home field is a really special feeling. We got a long way to go, but today felt great.
All right, again, final score 3-1. Cubs beat the Padres right there to take a 1-0 lead. By the way, 90% of the time when you win Game 1, you go on to win the series, and I think it's happened 10 straight times since they've had this sort of a wild card format. All right, finally, Dodgers and Cincinnati. Guess who in the bottom of the 1st inning?
Swing and a line drive, ripped right field, back, gone. Leadoff homer. Shohei Ohtani, a low liner over the right field fence. And just like that, the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Shohei explodes immediately.
Well, you talk about hitting a ball 118.
Yes, thanks to ESPN with a call. So it's 1-0 Dodgers. Let us head now to the bottom of the third inning.
That's drilled left field. That's back on its way and out of here. Teoscar Hernandez unloads, and the Dodgers have a 4-0 lead.
Well, this is the thing about Teoscar Hernandez. His ability to take that expansion of the zone and still attack and drive the ball. He sat back, got a slider. You figure.
All right, it's 4-0 Dodgers, bottom of the 3rd. Tommy Edman gets into the act also in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Edman drives one. That one towards the corner, and it's gone. Back to back. 5-0 LA.
Well, this crowd is absolutely bananas right now.
And then Teoscar Hernandez came up in the bottom of the 5th inning for home run number 2.
0-2. Drilled out towards right center field. Friedel is back. That one is gone. Teoscar Hernandez, his 2nd of the night. And the Dodgers lead it 6-0.
All right, now let's head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Shohei Ohtani says, "Oh yeah, I can hit 2 home runs in a game too."
Asked him why, and he said because I was feeling good. Well, that feels good. Look out! This may leave the park. Wow! Ohtani's 2nd of the night, and the Dodgers are feeling great. It is 8-0, and he is something else.
Well, you can see his own bullpen just in awe of what he's able to do.
No question about it. Awesome stuff from the Dodgers, and we'll see if they can close out the Reds today. I'd want to see Terry Francona win, but we will see. So 10-5, Dodgers win, and they will play again tonight at 9 o'clock on ESPN. All right, 727-858-6650. That's the number to call or text. Bill Spiro is going to join us from bookies.com, senior betting analyst any second now. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Digital Network video platform. Follow me at PShep326 on X. Also on YouTube, Kick, Rumble, CSDN Florida, SR1029 The Game, Odyssey, Instagram, LinkedIn as well. So we get discussed. Unbelievable network that Angel has put together. Some great shows all the way around. I also want to tell you, for the best articles and audio, there's only one source, that provides everything you need. 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combing through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com, info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. All right, let me see, before Bill comes on, if there's anything new that we can play for you. Again, tomorrow, more baseball stuff, a lot more NFL and college football news. Patriots getting ready to take on Buffalo on Sunday night. But it has been absolutely thrilling. Game one, lots of video, lots of sound. You've heard it all. I've given everything to you. And with that, we welcome in the one and only Bill Sparrows, from senior betting analyst from bookies.com. And Bill, because they won't say it nationally, they focus on the wrong things. I don't know what they're going to focus on WEI and 98.5, but I said it from the top of the show. One of the unsung heroes last night, and there are a lot of them, but I got to tell you, Jose David Flores, the first base coach, and the scouting department, they were outmanaged, they were outcoached, they were outplayed, they were out-hustled. And Nick Sogarts, because of Flores, Duran would have made that a double. He didn't need scouting. He can just instinctively see it. But that was completely. It's the only thing ESPN did last night well, besides root for the Yankees, was when I was saying it. I said, "My first base coach." He goes, "He's going to get my number one star tomorrow if the Red Sox win this game." But I hope he gets the credit that he deserves. That first base coach and the scouting department for the Red Sox, knowing full well that, to take a line out of Bull Durham, that Aaron Judge was going to sort of, lollygag it and not really go all out and hustle to get to that ball after Sogard hit it to right center field. But just overall, what a thrilling win. I barely had my voice. I was going nuts last night, screaming at everything and everybody and all that stuff. And how about this? My great analogy, I'm sure you thought about this as well. Aaron Boone out-Grady Littled himself. And it's just the irony of the whole thing. Grady doesn't take out Pedro in 2003, and Aaron takes out Fried too early. Not that the Red Sox may not have won, but still, 102 pitches. He takes Fried out, and if the Red Sox win tonight, that'll be the final straw. He will be gone. Grady Little in 03. Aaron Boone, who hit the home run off of Wakefield in 03, ironically, and now he is the GOAT, and not in a good way for the Yankees for pulling Fried in the seventh. But good morning, Bill. What an absolute thrilling game last night. I'm ecstatic.
Life is a flat circle, Pete. If you wait long enough, everything happens again in reverse. This game last night was and again, I know we've said this, and maybe they're doing this. This game last night would be the quintessential, post, we're going to spend all the money in the world to win Red Sox. Like, this is their denouement. This is their masterpiece. This was the culmination of, the stat geeks, the nerds, the analytics people, the scouting people. This was like the least talented, least potent Red Sox lineup that's ever made it this far in my lifetime. And they, it was like the MIT guy. It was like sort of like the Manhattan Project almost. They just sort of put all the pieces together, and it worked out perfectly at Los Alamos. And last night was kind of the Los Alamos because the Yankees got nuked. And after the Red Sox win tonight, I think you're going to see Cashman and Boone gone. I think if you're the Yankees and you look at the money they've spent and at the talent they've brought in to not only underachieve. I mean, look, they got smoked by I think the best pitcher in baseball. That happens, and they did have a lead. So, to your point, taking out your best pitcher, even though he's thrown, it's like last night with Crochet. Of course, last night was Game 7 for the Red Sox. This was the game they had to win. And Cora managed like it was Game 7 of the World Series, and it worked. And I'm no Alex Cora fan. He's a convicted cheater, and I think I don't like a lot of what he does. I think he's much more a corporate suck up. But all of his non-trash can baseball acumen last night was paid off. He didn't make a single bad decision. Every move, big or small, from sending the runners to positioning the players to putting Yoshida up in that spot. Everything they did last night worked. And they had the best starter and the best closer in baseball. And to show you how impressive and how strong their front end and back end pitching is and how terrible the rest of their lineup is. That was last night. It was the best players at their best, at least in terms of pitching, and the analytics, scouting, behind the scenes, video, people putting subpar players, a AA or AAA lineup, in the position to succeed, and they succeeded against a team of bloated superstars. And I will give them all the credit in the world. John Henry, Linda Henry, Sam Kennedy,
Little Henry, Henry,
Chaim Breslow. This game last night was their this was their masterpiece. This was their Mona Lisa. This was their Citizen Kane.
Where do you rank the pitching last night? Garrett Crochet in postseason lifetime for the Red Sox. We've got Lornborg, we've got Tiant, we've got Clemens, Pedro. That was masterful to sit down 17 guys in a row, especially with that lineup. That's got to be right up there, right? With one of the great pitching performances in Red Sox postseason history, correct?
Well, everybody seems to forget in Game 3 of the 2004 World Series. I mean, Pedro almost threw a no-hitter in that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm lumping in Pedro, Josh Beckett, Kurt Schilling, obviously. I'm saying it's right up there.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, very much like, very much to me, I viewed it more Beckett and Clemens than Pedro because Crochet was, Pedro could put the ball anywhere. Crochet just overpowered them. He was big and he threw big. He threw, he was pitching hard until the end. In the same, what was his last pitch?
100.2 miles an hour is Crochet's last pitch.
114 or 117 pitches, and his last pitch was 100. God bless Pedro, but that's how Beckett and Clemens would go out. Tiant's last pitch would be like 8 feet out of the strike zone and then drop over the plate, and Pedro's last pitch would take your wrist off.
Well, Schilling had some unbelievable outings too, not just with the Red Sox, but with Arizona. He a little bit different, maybe a little bit more finesse, but still.
Crochet was that to me. That was an overpowering pitching performance, and again, I thought of Clemens and Josh Beckett too, and even John Lackey in that last game he pitched when he won the World Series in 2013. It was only 6 1/3, and I thought he was going to murder Francona. For taking him out. John Farrell for taking him out, but to me it was more a dominant Clemens-esque, Beckett-esque performance where the Yankees. He went right at him. He had a couple of really nasty changeups, which you need. but his basic MO was, I'm coming right at you guys, and good luck. And it worked.
And there's so many unsung heroes, as I said. Jose David Flores, the first base coach. Nick Sogard, absolutely unbelievable. Wasn't even sure he's going to make the postseason roster. And then Ceddanne Rafaela, down 0-2 in the 0-2 count there, and works an 11-pitch walk. I mean, against Weaver. That is another play that should be highlighted. Circle, unsung hero. And then Sogard grounded. And he ends up third base because Sogard on the double that we talked about. And then you have Masataka Yoshida. And if they win today, and I think they will, and they go to Toronto, the Blue Jays want none of him. I mean, he hits like 900 against the Blue Jays, especially in that stadium. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I got like, besides the obvious of Crochet and Aroldis Chapman, the obvious heroes. Navarez behind the plate was called a great game. And then how about Bregman, 2 for 4, and then the insurance run in the bottom of the ninth double. I mean, there's so many areas here to dissect and analyze. And then you talked about the analytics, which was a great point. But it came back to bite the Yankees in the ass, because that's how Aaron Boone has managed that team all year and sort of somewhat got away with it. But it's also part of the reason why the bullpen is like 22nd or 23rd with a 4.57 ERA. So maybe some of the analytics that might have worked for the Red Sox, but I think it was a lot of scouting, backfired on the Yankees. And that pleases me.
Well, I mean, listen, again, I just go back to, going directly from Crochet to Chapman last night. You weren't going to give the Yankees a chance. Garrett Whitlock, he's not Aroldis Chapman. He's not Garrett Crochet.
No.
You took Cora's credit, and again, I will credit him. All the things I don't like about the Red Sox won that game last night, save for Crochet and Chapman and Bregman. And I'll happily credit them for that. But the mistake the Yankees made was they went from Max Fried to Joe Schmedlack, and the Red Sox went from Roger Clemens to freaking
Goose Gossage.
Goose Gossage, exactly. So that was that's the difference of the game. It's like, no, this is a game. If you're the Red Sox anyway, you have to win. And it was, to me, it had a Game 7 feel. Mm-hmm. I would imagine the players felt that same way. They're not going to say that, but they sure as hell played like it. And when Yoshida got that hit, it reminded me of J.D. Drew's $72 million grand slam he hit against the
Indians
in that Game 7 or Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, J.D. Drew sucked, but he earned his $72 million in one swing. Yoshida, if the Red Sox look, they beat the Yankees in the playoffs. To me, that is the equivalent to winning the pennant. So I'll be happy even if they lose the next round or the round after that. It's like 2021 where they lost to the Astros. I didn't care because they beat the damn Devil Rays and the Yankees. So if they're not going to win the World Series and they beat the Yankees, I'm happy with that. So in my mind, I'm going to say Yoshida earned his $90 million last night with that one hit, because that won him the game. And, it's they paid him $90 million, and he earned it last night. Again, the same as J.D. Drew earned it with his grand slam against Cleveland.
And you go to the pitching matchup today, and I know Bayo has not done well the last 3 starts. I'm throwing that out the window. One thing, the stats, because it makes me feel better, is the numbers that he's had against the Yankees, which is very good. Now, he's 0-3 with a 5.79 ERA in his final 3 starts. Not very good. But one of the losses in the final weeks came to the Yankees in Boston on September 13th. He allowed 4 runs on 5 hits. But he is 5-4 with a 2.35 ERA and 11 career starts against the Yankees. He's 2-1 with a 1.89 ERA in 3 outings versus the Yankees this year. And in 5 lifetime outings at Yankee Stadium, Bayo is 3-1 with a 1.44 ERA in 5 starts. But Bill, all the pressure today is on the Yankees. Everything. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond. And again, it's smart baseball. It's, sacrificing when you need to, running the bases well, not making lollygagging type errors, all out hustle. And I don't know. I could see the Yankees unraveling if things don't go well for them early on in this game. Couldn't you?
Yeah, this again. Hey, I've been wrong. This to me has a Game 7, 2004 feel. I'm just waiting for Johnny Damon to hit like a grand slam in the second inning. I think this to me has that kind of feel to it because I think if the Red Sox get up even a run or two off Rodon, I mean it's going to come unglued because Yankees bullpen is terrible, and I mean the Red Sox they barely scratched out 3 runs. I mean they could score 6 or 7 runs tonight.
Rodon does not do well against them.
Yeah, and it's like again, I could just see that crowd, a late arriving crowd, because it's New York and it takes
Yeah.
7 hours to get there at 6 o'clock, and
Mhm.
I mean it could be up 3 nothing in the second inning, and the place is half empty. These people just don't even bother showing up. So I get that kind of feel tonight. I don't feel like the Yankees are like, oh yeah, we're going to come back. And to your point about Aaron Judge, I mean, how many times is this guy going to mail it in playing the field in the postseason? Where it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, where is the hustle on this guy in the outfield? I mean, it cost them not that they were going to win the World Series this year, but I mean, he sealed their fate in the World Series,
That was a drop. This was that was just a drop.
But it's a mental, yeah, it's a drop, but it's a mental, it's mental.
Mhm.
So how do you make that play at that moment because your head is not in it? That was a mental mistake. That wasn't like it wasn't Bill Buckner. It was a mental mistake. And yesterday, look if you want to go back and look at last World Series, last night is a proof of the fact that he dropped that ball last year, but he wasn't into it.
Mhm.
As we saw that again last night. He's just mailing it in out there. I mean, the guy doesn't even move.
Well, he's got his MVP trophy he's going to collect next week. So,
And look, hey, I don't really care, but these Yankee fans want to compare this guy to Mickey Mantle. I mean, give me a freaking break. Mantle was hungover, had 2 bad knees, probably had 6 or 7 girlfriends in every room. I mean, that guy could barely make it to the park, but at least he broke down before he quit. I mean, he literally broke down. And Aaron Judge is this incredible athlete and specimen, and it's just like, my God, why don't you run down a fly ball? Do something.
but even that it wasn't a fly ball. It was a hard hit. It should have been a single. But again, I think that is scouting. I think they picked up on it. They did talk about scouting on WEI. They did not talk about it on national on WS radio. I had Nick Sogart on. I played the interview they did with him. Definitely brought up scouting in that, and it's something that I'm sure that Alex Cora and everybody else drilled into their heads. Hey, if you watch Aaron, watch Judge's movements out there because you can run on him. Despite being a great athlete, great arm, and all that stuff, the lack of hustle, it's apparent. There's no question about it. I'm wondering how much pressure, I wonder how much heat he took after the game. It's easy to just say Aaron Boone screwed up, and he should be the main call. I get that, but do you think? I wonder if Aaron Judge took a lot of heat last night for not hustling, not that ball, because I didn't hear it on national TV this morning at all for an hour. It's embarrassing.
I mean, the heat is what is he thinking? And contrast. This is again. This is sort of my worst manifestation because all the things I hate about the Red Sox work last night. Contrast Aaron Judge to Abreu, who almost murdered Rafaela after running about 150 feet to catch that ball.
My heart came out of my throat.
And it's like, but it was a crazy play, and Rafaela was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But that is, I mean, contrast that hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast the play that he made. Again, almost cost him the game, almost murdered his teammate.
Because it almost cost Rafaela's life.
Yeah. I mean, he literally, he just like, it was like a bull. He just literally almost ran him over. But to think about that hustle versus Aaron Judge lollygagging it, since we want to go old fart, it's like freaking Reggie when Billy Martin pulled him out of Fenway. That's exactly exactly what Aaron Judge did last night.
I brought that up earlier, Bill. Great. I brought that up earlier. I said it wasn't quite that bad, but it was close.
The problem is Aaron doesn't have.
Remember Bobby Mercer trotting out of the dugout to go play right field. That was so great.
If Aaron Boone had a pulse, he should have pulled Judge, and they could have went at it in the dugout.
Oh.
The difference is Aaron Boone wasn't drunk and/or hungover like Billy Martin was.
Oh my God! All right, a couple things. Because I got Mick come out on the 8:30 or 8:35, whatever. I want to get into a little bit of gambling with you, but before that, real quick, do you think, because not only the Yankees but the Mets, just the way that makes the '78 Red Sox collapse look negligible? What happened? Bottom line is, in 1 minute, do you think at all that the Red Sox will at least make a competitive offer to Pete Alonso, who clearly does not said he's going to be a free agent? We know the Mets are probably going to try to keep him. I don't know why he's going to stay there, and they keep him the manager. I don't know why they're doing that. But your thought, do you think John Henry will come out of his cocoon and make a legit, serious offer to Pete Alonso this year?
I would have to think so, especially since they don't have Bregman in the fold yet. I mean, they have to, what are they going to do with Alex Bregman? And he's going to be a free agent. He's going to test the market. So maybe that's the counter. I mean, they don't really have a first baseman. Tristan Casas, seriously? Give me a break.
Yeah.
They should have, Devers should have been the first baseman on opening day. We've been through that. Yes, I think they should. I think they will. He seems like the kind of guy that they can afford. He would probably want to come here, and they definitely need him. But Bregman is priority number one.
All right, quickly, a couple things here. You had a great, which I retweeted. Did I retweet that? I should have. A fascinating story here, and this aggravates me. Massachusetts sportsbooks have limited more than 13,000 patron accounts, in part because they want too much money in a survey. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Unless there's something over the top illegitimate going. But anyway, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, we finally have data to back up the assertion of broke or bankrupt. And, it was, well, the number they gave everybody was 0.64%. So being the intrepid journalist that I am, I asked the Mass Gaming Commission 0.64% of how many patron accounts, which they did not make public until I asked them. So that's how I got that number. It's 0.64% of 2.1 million active accounts in December of 2024.
How come it took you? They're going to say, well, no one ever asked us except for Bill Spiros, right?
Well,
Is that their excuse?
Yes. They should have actually put that in the, but the point was, and of those 13,000 accounts, 12% of them were people who found themselves limited to 1% of their average wager. So yeah, those were the people who won too much. The people who were perceived to have been taking advantage of mistakes or of lines before the lines were moved, which to me I think is a market risk. Those people, a lot of them were shut off. The people who are limited were the ones who win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there weren't a whole lot of people who were limited because they lost. And that's the crux of all this with the Gaming Commission is one, not telling people they've been limited. That's going to change. The one thing I will say for certain is that there will be a regulation in the Commonwealth sometime in their future. I don't know, probably 3 months, based on the way things work, that says if you're limited in the state of Massachusetts by a licensed sports book, they have to notify you of that. Now, the next step is as to why. I think they're going to have to come up with some language to, say either A, B, or C. But the era of people, at least in Massachusetts, who bet on legal books and are limited, and don't know about it, that's going to change. 100% that's going to change. And hopefully, I think Chair Maynard spelled it out yesterday when he said, listen, if you're not breaking the rules and the rules are extensive or doing anything considered untoward, like, oh, there was a mistake, like, oh, the Red Sox are plus 8,000 tonight instead of, plus 180 or whatever. Those things are covered. But if you're just good at what you do and they're shutting you off, that's going to end, at least in Massachusetts, soon.
Bill, great stuff. I will leave you with this statistic. You probably heard it, or maybe not. The Yankees are the first team in Major League Baseball history to load the bases in the bottom of the ninth inning and lose. We remember the Red Sox in Game 6 of '75 when they loaded the bases, and I forget who hit it. Denny Doyle got thrown out at the double play.
Fred Lynn.
But that was the Carlton Fisk, off Pat Darcy, in extra innings, and so they won that game. So they don't get that dubious stat. But another thing that pleases me: Yankees make history again in a notorious way.
It was Don Zimmer who sent Denny Doyle, probably the slowest player in the history of Major League Baseball. He sent him from third base, and Fred Lynn's pop-up went about 170 feet. So thank you, Don Zimmer.
Bill, you're the best. Thanks so much. Check him out, senior betting analyst at bookies.com. And now, anything else coming? Now, next week, we're not going to talk next week. You're in Vegas next week?
I will be at the Global Gaming Expo in Vegas next week when the gaming industry tries to figure out how to deal with prediction markets and offshore sports books.
Well, so you probably won't be available. I don't want to bother you while you're out there. 3-hour time difference. So
I will be intrepidly working and hopefully trying to break some news and write some stories.
Awesome. Well, I'll just keep retweeting your stuff. So we'll talk in a couple of weeks then.
Okay. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks. Bill Sparrow, senior betting analyst from bookies.com. And just like that, from one great guest to another, it's hard to believe. I'm still coming off a high from last night, but my God, it is unbelievable how we are ready for another hockey season, beginning tomorrow night when the Boston Bruins take on the Washington Capitals on the road. And our great NHL insider from rinkrapmc.com as well, a good buddy, Mick Colaggio. Mick, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Pete. I am still getting over last night myself. It wasn't looking good for Aroldis Chapman. He was in quite a hole.
Until it wasn't. Until he got out.
When he got that first one, then you realized, holy cow, they're one pitch away from ending this game, 6-4-3. So
that's what I thought it was going to be, 6-4-3. It was unbelievable. Really, there's so many. Like I said, my unsung hero. I got about 4 of them, but really is first base coach Jose David Flores on that Sogard hit, scouting, knowing that Judge was going to dilly-dally a little bit to the ball and just turning on the afterburners way before he even hit first base. That is scouting. Yankees outmanaged, outscouted, outcoached, outhit, outplayed, and outpitched. It's fantastic. And I don't know if you heard my other great analogy. Aaron Boone morphed into, ironically, Grady Little. And it was Aaron Boone who hit the home run off of Wakefield in 2003.
That's right.
Grady Little, off of Tim Wakefield, because Grady Little didn't pull Pedro Martinez early enough. And here we have Aaron Boone, who should have waited at least another 2/3 of an inning to pull Max Fried. So the circle of life continues between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
So I guess the last, according to my friend Dennis Votor, the last team to have the bases loaded with nobody out and not score in the ninth inning of the playoffs was the 2008 Phillies.
I thought they said last night the Yankees were the first team ever to lose a game, not score, but they're the first team.
Okay, so that's a different. Yeah, that's a different record. Yeah.
So what you just said, what'd you say? What team was that?
So Dennis said this morning that Yankees are only the second team to have the bases loaded with no outs and not score in the ninth inning of playoffs. The last team was the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, which they won.
And they won the game?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So that's where it comes down to.
So the Yankees are the first to do this and blow the game.
And lose. Yes. Fantastic. Isn't it? That's what I say. That's what I say. All right. I saw a geeky score the other night. I can't forget who else. I saw the highlights. The Bruins getting ready to open up the season. New regime. Marco Sturm and company. Blah blah blah. What? Last couple of exhibition games. What have you liked? And how are you feeling going into this season? And what are Mick Calaggio's expectations?
I'd say that my big takeaway is that now that Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm, who both sustained career-threatening injuries last season, Lindholm went by breaking his kneecap blocking a shot. You never know how that's going to go. And Charlie McAvoy, who's had numerous shoulder injuries, having a really serious one, resulting in a very invasive surgery that he got on a cheap shot from then Montreal Canadiens forward Yoel Armia in the Four Nations in the early round game in Montreal. When Armia, at post whistle, cross-checked him from behind, and he went straight into the post, missing his head but getting his shoulder. And quite involved what McAvoy went through to get back on the ice. And both guys are back and they're playing with great joy. And I don't want to say reckless abandon, but they seem to me to have that joy that a kid has when the ice naturally freezes and you're out on the pond and you feel the cold air on your face and it's making the tears go sideways to your ears because you can't help yourself from just skating as hard as you can through it. And that's what I see with those two guys. And the reason that does something for me beyond just the natural fact that these guys grew up playing a game they love, and it's just wonderful to see them enjoying it again, is the fact that the Boston Bruins trajectory completely changes if both of those guys are healthy. That's the top defense pairing and one of the better ones in the NHL. Jeremy Swayman played a good game in goal. They have themselves a lot of work to do, but they got a solid back end. Presuming health, they have a solid back end. They will be a hard, tough out. They will be a pain in the Isomat, but they will have a difficult time scoring goals. And David Pasternak's going to get all effort from everybody's going to try to shut him down, and they're going to take their chances on anybody else beating them. And so the Bruins have to become a team that's greater than the sum of their parts. And when you have a new coach and new details, systems, and there's a lot there to develop. So offense is not going to be too easy to come by. That's why they brought in two real American Hockey League studs who are at a career crossroads, approaching age 25, and Matai Blumel and Alex Steves. Mm-hmm. Now, Blumel's been given every opportunity alongside the top talent that's in the lineup on that given night. And the only goal I've seen him score is one that he tapped in, standing right at the top of the crease with the goalie out of the net. And credit for him for going to the net. It was a good play. But this rifle of a shot that this guy has, he's just recklessly taking it from anywhere on the ice because he's so desperate to put a puck in the net. The guys who have been scoring the goals for them, they're the grinders that nobody wants to see score. Patrick Brown. And on the undersold Dalton Bancroft, who finished up at Cornell and is also approaching age 25. He gets a couple of goals. Jeffrey Viel, an American Hockey League enforcer, made one of the best plays they've had this preseason. So if any of these guys that the masses want to see succeed and give the Bruins hope, put any of these pucks in the net, they'd be going nuts right now, talking about Blumel scoring 40, Fabian Lysell scoring 30. They'd be having all kind. If any of these guys were doing those things, but they're not. It's the grinders that are doing it, guys that might not even make the opening night roster. So to me, the management has an idea of what they got for a hockey team here, And there's really not a hell of a lot that's happening on the ice that's compelling theater to change their minds about it. It's kind of going to be the team that they picked on July 1st and came to camp with, and then they have to make decisions.
Well, you mentioned Blumel. Is he going to play with Zaka and Arvidsson on the second line, at least for now anyway? Does that look like
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I think we're about to find out, because he has gotten that kind of opportunity heretofore, but they're at the point now where they have to decide, what's our hockey team? Let's get ready here. They made a first wave of cuts. They need to make a second wave, the one that matters. And if it was me, Blumel would go to Providence. He's not showing me an NHL game right now. Steves is not scoring, but Steves is showing me an NHL game right now. He's a bigger body. He's really crafty along the walls. He competes for pucks. He wins 50-50s. He's very structured and a very solid. He would be a easy guy to plug into that lineup and not worry, oh God, he's going to be the dumb rookie who makes the play that costs us the game, because we can't afford to have that kind of a lineup. They can't have that kind of a lineup. If you do, then you're going to compromise your ability to defend. If the Boston Bruins compromise their ability to defend, they won't score enough goals to win. So it's some of the cuts that I anticipate are going to piss off a lot of people, but they're going to get the right players in there to help them be the team they need to be, which is not going to be very exciting.
Why haven't the Bruins?
They're going to be a spoiler kind of a team.
And I don't want you to be modest. Why haven't you been hired by the Bruins as some sort of a scout, special assistant, you name it? There's plenty of opportunities for somebody with your knowledge, your expertise, your thoughtful discourse, your rational thought. Why has that not happened? Have you tried? Because if you haven't, you should.
Oh boy, I'd say about 15 years ago, I decided that life at the Standard Times in New Bedford was going the wrong way, and that I made a half-hearted attempt to try to jump and get into hockey, but I did it the wrong way and at the wrong time, because the NHL was just starting at that time to embrace what us old curmudgeonly folks call fancy stats, and they weren't looking for consultants who didn't have a playing career to speak of. They're drowning in those people. So what they needed was a new wave of young people who brought something to the table that they did not have, and that was the emergence of statistical whiz kids who would kind of be like
Pete in Moneyball, the one that
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed that generation, and that's what invaded hockey at that time. So it also didn't help that I chose two former Mount St. Charles general managers as people that I would target and send a letter to, completely oblivious to the fact that they probably hate my guts. And the reason is because of an awful article I wrote for the New England Hockey Journal back in 2003, after the one season that Brian Berard played for the Boston Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
He courageously, with sight in only one eye, played for the team, and they assigned him two they tried to make him their number one defenseman, which I just absolutely went after Mike O'Connell for that decision, completely insensitive of the fact that it overlooked what a courageous season that was for Brian, and embarrassing for his family to read. And I was an idiot. And I've written stupid things in my life before that, and I've written stupid things since then. But that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever written. And
yeah, but
I think any sports writer will admit at some point that they've done dumb things, and so that's that's sort of the story of me trying to get inside the sport. One time, Caparetta was sitting with me at a Providence Bruins game, and we were talking about players.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me about some pro scouts, and I won't name them, but pro scouts always criticizing the coach. He says, "Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't start scouting the coach." He says, "You're scouting players." He says, and so we're talking about different players, and I'm telling him what I see. And I remember John Roloff, who had played for the Boston Bruins in the early to mid '90s.
Yep.
He was breaking in with the Bruins. Well, a few years later, he was back with Providence, and he was stuck down there, and the Bruins had an awful team in Boston. And John Roloff was really playing well. He's kicking the crap out of it down there. He was like a boulder going around the ice, taking the puck from anybody he wanted. And Cap asked me who I liked in the game, and I told him Roloff, and he said, "You know what? I agree with you." And one night he just said to me at Providence Civic Center, now known as the AMP, long known as the Dunk, "You could do this." I'm thinking, yeah, but it's too late. They don't want
It's never
people
too
like me
late.
anymore.
Never too late.
No, what they want is a 24-year-old handsome young stud of a hockey player who had a knee or a shoulder injury that really kind of cut short his career, and then they want to take and mold that person into somebody who had the inside track on what the experience was like to compete in those situations, and mold that person into an insider who would scout. And so yeah, I mean, are the guys who I consider kind of like me who have had this job for a long time and are great at it? Yes, but it was never in the cards for somebody like me. My whole career has been a broken play, and you were in on the very beginnings of it when I got into radio, wanting to call games. So I take that as a tremendous compliment. But
I still think you should keep knocking on doors because
no, I'm almost 70.
So what?
There's
All
no
right, so
chance.
you
Here's
just do
no,
home
no,
games. Just do
but
home games there.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have a great opportunity in my life to cover the Bruins and enjoy coming on the air with you, doing a podcast with Joe Haggerty, and meeting up with a lot of people that I slept out to get tickets to watch play. My nerdism that goes all the way back to my childhood affords me this life, and this scam of walking in through TD Garden through the back security gate with a badge with my face on it and a barcode in the back, and going through and up an elevator and eating with the pro scouts and assistant coaches, and then going upstairs and getting notes and then talking to people in the game after the game. It's a crazy experience for me to be in this situation, or I get to write about it. And a merciful God has allowed me to continue despite my foibles. And so, I'm grateful where I am. I'm not looking at this as a cup half empty. To me, you don't know what's going to happen to you in your life, what you're going to become interested in. Along my journey, I got an opportunity to write, found out that I could be good at it. Obviously, not always good at it. But when I make it about them and not about me and my big opinions, then I tend to write my better stuff. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you should have went after some Hendrick and Hawk general managers instead of Mount. You know the deal. I know, but
Are there any of those in the NHL?
There's some I don't know if they're GMs yet, but there's some in the NHL. Obviously, more Mounties than Hawks, but we had plenty of Hawks in there at the time. But you mentioned Brian Berard, and I always thought he would go to Hendricken and not Mount, because I believe his first cousin was Matt Berard, my classmate in 1985.
Oh, okay.
And Matt and I, obviously, I was nowhere near good enough to make my high school hockey team, but Matt and I played my first 2 years I ever played competitive hockey when I was 6 and 7 years old on the Custom Cougars. And he recently, I'll send you the picture. He sent me
Warwick Vets?
West Warwick. West Warwick.
West Warwick.
Wes Warwick,
Oh yeah,
Matt Berard.
that was an ice box, that rink.
Oh shit! It's coldest rink in the history of rinks. There isn't any.
Everybody thinks that they know the coldest history. That one
Well,
is in the pantheon of the greats as far as cold rinks goes. I will say
West
that.
Warwick, that rink, and then if you went to Thayer, where Hendricken played, and Warwick Vets, and Tollgate, and Pilgrim, that was like going to Aruba compared to West Warwick. I mean, it was that much of a difference. And plus, all the times we had to play at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, as you did back in the day when you were squirts and peewees, as they say. And but Matt was we played together for 2 years, and even then, he was the best player on the team, and Matt ended up being a great player. At Hendricken. I think he went, and then he's got a great career. I can't remember if he went on to coach a little bit, an assistant coach, but yeah, I believe that Brian was his first cousin. I believe that's the case, as I talked about. But I'll send you a picture of Matt and I on the Custom Cougars, like in 1975 or 76, 75. It's hysterical. And I'm the tallest one on the team. I look like Big Z compared to everybody
You
else.
just posted an old photo with your friends that
Yeah.
I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, yeah, that was with John Pearson and
not that John Pearson Bruins fans.
Not that John Pearson, no. My buddy John Pearson and David Caprio was in front. Yes, Judge Caprio's son. David and I were good friends, and they lived.
The late great Judge Caprio.
The late great Judge Caprio, absolutely. So, my man, one last thing. One last thing. I was going to.
We're
ask
already
you,
done.
Yeah, yeah. The word culture.
We really got to it today, didn't we?
The word culture is so overused in sports and all of that stuff. But what is Marco Sturm? What kind of culture is he? Why is this going to be different than the past regime or past regimes for that matter?
They wanted to disconnect from 2011. The Bruins are at a point where it is dysfunctional for them to continue trying to be somehow connected to their 2011 team. Once negotiations broke down with Brad Marchand at last season's trade deadline, and they moved on from him, it also made sense for them to move on from players with term like Brandon Carlo and Charlie Coyle, who were integral to the Bruins' next wave that made the 2019 Stanley Cup final, and really kind of move into embrace the era that they're in now, so that the only holdover from that interim period is really David Pastrnak. And so I think that what they saw in Marco Sturm was a variety of experience that encompasses everything that they're looking forward to. And that would include his playing experience with the Bruins when that Claude Julien, Chara Bergeron, Tim Thomas team was on the climb. Marco Sturm was integral to that climb. He really should have been part of it. And getting this opportunity is sort of his Stanley Cup ring that he didn't get because he blew out his knee at the beginning of the 2010 series against Philadelphia, and never got to be part of the final steps to the top. And so him coming back, they know that he gets the culture. He gets it. They loved him when they had him. And they got him in the Joe Thornton trade, the infamous Joe Thornton trade. He was one of the 3 players that came from San Jose.
Which I hated at the time because Joe went on to win the MVP. And
that's only NHL player ever to win the Hart Trophy after a season in which he was traded during the year. The other thing was he coached in Europe. And the Olympics that the NHL did not go to in South Korea, Marco Sturm's German team won the silver medal. And the story is that he was dissatisfied with that, really thought they should have won the gold. And so the German Federation really holds him in high esteem because they feel like he changes their trajectory as an international hockey country. And it isn't just Leon Draisaitl or before him when the Bruins had Dennis Seidenberg, at the top of their defense with Johnny Boychuk joining Chara back there. They feel like that Marco Sturm is a real influential person for them. He had assistant coach experience in the NHL. He had minor league head coaching experience in the American Hockey League. So and they feel like he gets the Bruins, he gets the city, and he also is on the cutting edge of what they want to do as a hockey team and change out and explore new ways of trying to win games that really weren't part of the chain that they were coming from. My attitude toward it is that Bruce Cassidy was really different from Jim Montgomery, and so to go from them to if you had come back with Joe Sacco, yeah, you would have more of a continuum from say the Cassidy style. He didn't play quite like Montgomery; it was more like Vittoric, but Sturm really takes it in a different direction, and I think they just felt like there were a few really good candidates, but this is the one they wanted. And let's see how he does.
All right, speaking of that, real quick again, Big Z back with the organization, Zdeno Chara, which I think is great. Anytime you have people of not just his size, because he's like Godzilla, but I mean, just I heard part of his press conference last week and very impressed. What is his role going to be?
Yeah, he started following the team around, hanging out with management types late last season.
Yeah, you called it. You said he was probably going to be with the organization back then. You kind of called it. I remember.
Well, it really kind of struck me that he used to be the kind of guy who you could see in the hallway, and if you happen to be at a game,
How could
and
you
he'd be
miss
happy to stop and chat.
Yeah.
He really kind of suddenly felt like he had to like step away from us and skate in his lane with the people in the Bruins with whom he was hanging out. That really kind of told me that something was up. They needed to work on defining what that was and having Marco in house for a little while and letting that flesh out. And those two played together, obviously. They had an overlap that lasted a few seasons. So they're he's not there to offer any abiding presence as far as like I'm taking over our defenseman or something like that. More like as a consultant available as needed, or not when there's a problem necessarily, but maybe from a teaching thing. It could be with the prospects in Providence. He could work with Frederick Brunet down there, for instance, who's a terrific young defenseman who's going to play another full season in Providence at least. He's a guy that was really not a highly projected player, but he's played really well over the last year to the point that they have a guy there that they think that might be in the NHL someday. A guy like having Z around may help him get there. So,
let me just say, do you think it's going to be difficult for him not to talk about to these young defensemen or even the current Bruins about the intricacies of the game? Things like cycling, circling, when to pinch, when not to. But because of his size and the way he was able to play the game, well over 7 feet on skates, and honestly, there was no word of a lie when he used to say there were times he looked like he took up a third of the rink between his reach and everything else. You think it'll be difficult for him to coach other players because they're just not gargantuan like he was?
Yeah, it's a good point because it's a challenge to try to translate the details of hockey based on what you could do versus what somebody else. It's like asking Guy Lafleur to coach a grinder of a right winger.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have the same ability and you're not in the same stratosphere. That having been said, Zdeno Chara is a self-made phenom. His father was the coach of the Slovakian Greco-Roman wrestling team. So Chara has a wide variety
I didn't know
of
that.
athletic experience since he was a child.
Yeah.
And he was a long shot to make the NHL. And every step of the way for him was a developmental challenge. So for him to reach the heights that he did and win the Norris Trophy, win the Stanley Cup, captain an era of Bruins hockey in which they've had just unbelievably great captain leadership, uh, for him to emerge as he had and take it all the way to the Hockey Hall of Fame, it's how he did it that makes his story and his experiences translatable. It's not so much about you should win to pinch or not to pinch, because that's really the domain of the coaching staff. You want to make sure that you understand where you end and where they begin, and that you're not going to rewrite Marco Sturm's systems for him. What you are going to do is help every player and to understand those the best you can to know how to help players when it gets to the hockey, but be there for what they can't get from anybody else. And with Z, that begins with team first and how to put forward your best, because a lot of players, it's a mantra for them from the time they're 15 years old, and college coaches are starting to look at them. But learning how to find it, learning how to tap it, learning how to develop it, learning what you can do and to believe that you can do more. That's where Z is just, I don't know if he has a parallel in professional sports.
Mick, awesome stuff. As always, love your insight. And you're not going to DC tomorrow, are you, for the opener?
Well, that's not tomorrow. That's a week out. They open the season. They do play a game in Washington, but they play. Well, that's because it's a quirk of the preseason. They actually play there, but that's not the regular season. That's October 8th.
Okay.
So
for another week.
Right now we have family things going on. My way better half, her son is getting married on Monday.
Oh,
So
nice.
Bruins Media Day, guess who's not going to be there? I'm going to be putting on a suit and a tie and getting ready for a great family event when Chris marries Kim. And
I feel like an idiot because I've completely talked myself into today was good. Not that I wouldn't have you on anyway, but I mean I don't know why.
That's why I made it. Is that why I made it great?
No, I was going to have you on today.
That is awesome.
We'll do it again next week.
College football needs a give back here.
Oh, I'll be glued in front of my. Can't wait for my Hurricanes to destroy Florida State. Those a-holes. Anyway, Mick, thanks so
fantastic.
much. So where can we find you?
So everybody knows how complex our conversations are off the air. It's Mick, 8:30 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks, kind sir.
Yes, that's me. I said kind sir. Yes.
Anyway, So Rink Wrap is linked to X and Facebook. And one thing I wish we had better exposure for, and I've been talking to Richard Johnson about this, the curator of the Sports Museum, is all the great articles that have been in the event program for their main annual fundraiser, the Tradition, because I am afforded the opportunity every year to write the article about whoever the Bruins honoree is.
That's awesome
for that. So that's a lot of fun for
me.
me.
I have to present the damn award for once, for God's sakes.
Well, I got to present to Pasternak when he won the Elizabeth Dufresne for the third year in a row.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was the second. But in any case, so I guess I could be, put that picture up, But right now, I just love my Harry Sinden barking over these first Bruins team photo from 66, 67.
Mick, you're the best. Thank you so much. And we'll talk next week again when regular season officially starts. I got to check my map, my calendar.
Always a pleasure, Pete.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much. There he is. There he goes. Mick Colaggio from rinkwrapmc.com. Angel Martinez. Great show today. My voice is going, as you can tell. But we're going to end it here tomorrow. Oh, anything coming up on the network today?
Yes, later on tonight will be Lloyd Vance's Insider Football. Since they had the small hiccup on Monday, they'll be on tonight, 8 o'clock this evening, and that should be everyone for today, if I remember correctly.
All righty. Tomorrow, we'll have another great show lined up for you. A lot of baseball stuff again. I know we haven't got to a lot of football today. We'll get to some football tomorrow, but we'll recap all the MLB postseason play from tonight, this afternoon and tonight. And Trevor Harris will join us. We'll have. I'm going to try to get Joe Z on as well, the play-by-play voice for the Hurricanes as they get ready to take on Tallahassee. Go to Tallahassee and take on Florida State on Saturday night. Lots of NFL news and some big games this weekend, as there are every week. But Angel, let me. We'll close out the show with a couple of cuts, and then use your discretion. Let it go for about a minute, and then we'll close out the show. You can go to thank you and all that crap that we say. But I want to thank Mick Colagio. I want to thank Bill Sparrows for joining me today. That cool, Angel?
You want to go out on one of the clips?
I got it. I'm gonna
You
go
got it?
out.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it from here.
Okay.
So, with my TWIB This Week in Baseball closing theme. I'm Pete. Back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. See you, everybody.
Yoshida sends one to center field. Rafaela's going to come in. Sogard to the plate. Masa Yoshida delivers. And Boston now leads it 2-1 as they get to the bullpen.